Morning, Stephen.
Morning, Stephen. How are you, dude?
I'm not doing so bad. Hopefully, I've got a slight echo somewhere, but yeah, okay. We have we have a trio, as we say. Good morning to Peter. Morning, Peter. You got a video behind you.
Yeah, I thought I'd
Showing
try
off, isn't he, eh?
He is showing off. This is the latest version of XSplit VCam.
Yeah, this is Aberdeen behind me.
Uh-huh.
A student's view of
Go on.
Aberdeen.
Let's go with the video for a moment then.
Yeah. So this is just I've just tried out the YouTube. Don't know what's happening here. Aberdeen. Hold on. I'll get a back seat.
Just move to the right of the River Clyde.
Aberdeen is called the Granite City. It gives us a chance to have a cup of coffee.
Shouldn't we have bagpipes, Peter?
It's the museum with the oil rig in it, the oil industry museum. City, which is spelled Foot D, Footdee, but it's known locally as Fitty. And all the houses were like basically made for midgets like me, very small houses. Beautiful sandy beach. I actually had to get stones brought in to make a breakwater recently because it was a road. Aberdeen went in bloom 9 times in a row and had to be banned from the competition. And that's where well, that's the walled garden. It's not far from me actually. Don't know what that. Oh, that's and that's the St Margaret's Cathedral. A lot of people come to visit it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll do me. I'll change that. We'll use our chat and I'll change that. I'll just try YouTube.
Okay. And I say good morning to Chris, who's saying hello, Stephen, and the Blabbing team. Right. First order of the day is John. Wish that you get well soon, my friend, and that you can rejoin us for episode 242 next week. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 241, and there's confirmation. That's
black on black.
Yeah, no. This is crazy. Some changes are taking place here. I'm going to have to change the color. Let's change the color. Right, okay. So we've gone green. That's probably a good idea. Right, to everybody who's watching, welcome. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 241, in green. Okay. Right, okay. Topics for today. Where shall we start? Now, this is an interesting one. The government has a scheme, Monday through Wednesday, where if you go out to eat, you can get a contribution towards the cost of your dining up to £10 per person per head. Have either of you taken advantage of it?
Certainly have.
We've got a problem with it in Aberdeen. They're actually asking for the whole city to be extended. And the reason is because we've been shut down.
Are you still shut down, Pete?
Pardon?
Are you still shut down over there?
It's open today.
Opening today?
Big opening day today. Limited, very limited. I'm getting an echo, by the way.
I've got an echo too.
Yeah.
I haven't. Does that mean it's me?
Let's just test that. Can you try? Can you say something, Peter?
Hello.
All right. Okay, Stephen, it's you. Stephen will refresh and be back with us in a moment.
Oh, think of it comes back. Well, it's funny. I was out doing a customer who used me last year. I says, I remember you. Okay. And I said, I remember you. And it's funny, as you get to know people, I said, I'll give you some discount. Got chatting away about different things. I says, oh, your ring doorbell, how's it working? She goes, oh, it's very good, but it can be very slow. And I says, you've got a big, thick granite building here. She goes, I know, we've always had a problem. I says, why don't you look at Deco?
Yay, another one for Deco.
And I says, why don't you? She says, oh, I'm going to look that up right now. And just I says, because I mean, it was an old-fashioned, thick granite building. Yeah. And not a rural part, but getting to the edge of the city. And this is if you use I mean, I don't know about you, Stephen, but I've actually punted it quite a lot to people, you know?
Oh, yeah, every opportunity. I've got a kit list on my website, and it's in there. It's very prominent. In fact, we could well do a episode about Deco and show people how good it is and how well it works, because it's totally changed. I mean, we used to watch Amazon Prime, and the buffering was just, you couldn't watch anything.
Yeah.
And now,
The other thing I've got to tell you, do you know Frank Furness?
I've known him since 2005.
Right.
Because
I actually sat in his seminar the other day that he done. Now, boy, can he talk. And you know, I learned quite a lot from it. Until recently, I didn't have the patience to sit in a seminar. I'd come and then I was gone. But I listened right through, and it was really, really good, you know, really good. Because that was a guy that travels all over the world. And he just decided, right, I need to make some courses. And he made some courses. And he's making that, and he put up what he's making from him. This wasn't a selling job, well, it was a selling job then as well. But it was for people that he knows. And boy, he was showing us what he made doing nothing now, because he set up the courses and just put them. He mentioned Udemy and another one called Carthage. You heard of that?
Yeah.
It was quite a.
How do you spell that, Peter?
Pardon?
How do you spell that? Carthage?
I'll have to look at that. I think it's Kajabi or something like that.
Kajabi.
Kajabi. That's it. That's the one.
Kajabi. Kajabi.
Not cheap, but he's worked. He says you don't need to make a website again. It's got everything on it. He said, and he's very good. He's very good. I've got to tell you that. You know?
I think Kajabi, from memory, is around about £50 a month.
I think it's about £160 now.
All right, wow.
Because the amount of stuff it can do for you, and I really enjoyed some of the Have you heard the Headliner Pro? Have you heard of that?
No. What's that?
So you're making up a new bit. You're thinking of a good headline. You put what you're wanting to be spoken about, and it comes up with different headlines and everything for you to get noticed. Very good. You can just you could follow them or something.
You say that was Headliner?
Pardon?
Did you say that was Headliner?
Headliner Pro. No, you're thinking of sitting making headlines and that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got to tell you, there's too much to mention. If you get on and you'll maybe say it's really good. Yeah, so going back to the Eat Out, the people that have been able to use it, I don't use it because I don't eat the same anymore. I'm a bit depressed about that today because I put a bit of weight actually. But there's a lot of confusion with it because people it's there, but there are certain conditions that apply with it. Are you aware of it?
Well, no, there don't seem to be any conditions. We're going to Morrison's and it's Thursday and it's lunchtime, and we're going there and it will be half price.
Okay.
That's not part of the scheme. That's because they've decided to do it 5 days or 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
But the ones that are actually in it, there's a bit of an administration problem for them, right? But people are thinking they're getting alcohol and everything with it.
No, they're not. It's not. They're not thinking they're getting alcohol free because it's not available. It's only for non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah. So people have got their own interpretation. All I'm saying, I have seen problems with it, and it's actually forced some people nationally to say we're pulling out of the scheme.
But sorry,
sorry. Come on.
The scheme overall has been very successful. £64 million worth of meals have been subsidised. Stephen?
I think it's actually 65 million meals have been paid by £10. So 650 million revenue.
Decimal point.
Hey?
A decimal point. I got a decimal.
But we went to I keep on talking about the Trenton Bod, which is Titanic Brewery's cafe bar thing. So we went there, and unfortunately we didn't save much money because we only had some tortilla chips. So that was fine. But then there's an Indian my favourite Indian restaurant. It's called Planet Bollywood in Stoke, and took my son there, and it was really quite nice when the bill comes, and it's because we take our own drink. It's in an Indian restaurant like where we went to. It's really quite a big discount on the price of a curry and naan. And then we went to another restaurant on Wednesday, and it was what you call fine dining Indian, as opposed to non-fine dining. But because it is a very expensive restaurant, but of course we're each getting a £10 discount.
Yeah,
and it was really quite. It turned out to be quite decent. And the manager said that he's turning away upwards of 40 people a night.
Wow.
Because you have to pre-book.
Yeah.
And this thing about the pain in the arse of administration, it's not a pain. There's a form, you just stick your details in. And the thing is, if you're lying or anything like that, you'll get caught. So the Taz, the guy at my Planet Bollywood, he just he's changed his till, and then the your bill comes out at £10 discount if you've spent enough. Yeah. But I have heard that I read that some of the top end London restaurants are keeping it going. Whether that's going to ultimately be successful for them, I don't know. But I found it a very. I like as a way of supporting industry, supporting the hospitality trade. I think it's a winner. Now, whether they continue it or not, who knows?
Well, the restaurants actually continue it include Tesco's, which is not a restaurant really, but yeah. So a lot of several of the national chains are actually going to continue. Whether they'll do it Monday to Wednesday or all week, but as the sales marketing tool, it's been invaluable to them. So something successful.
I've sent you a picture. If you could try and put it up, Steve, somebody recognised it.
In that case, Peter, I'm going to hide for a moment.
Okay.
Look at that laddie. You're a brave man to put that on there, young. What?
No, it's a reminder. That's what I use the eat out scheme.
Oh boy.
I'm not lucky I was before Stephen came up. I'm lucky to be here today because I've had 5 jobs in so far that I've got to go and do. And I was going to abandon today, and I thought Stephen might be on his own because John was out. I wasn't sure if he was coming. I said, "Oh well, I'll tell you what. As soon as we are finished today, I'm out that door."
Well, I just finished a Zoom with a client at about 3 minutes to 10. I got another one at 11. So yeah, I'm with you on that, my friend. I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this for nearly 4 years. That's
You've been doing what you're doing?
Eh?
Sorry, what was that in 4 years?
We've been doing Blabbing for Britain for 4 years.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, is it? And I've managed.
Do you think it's unfair to say you get the snowflakes saying that, oh, I've been on 4 Zoom sessions today?
I've got to tell you, I was saying to the people that I know, I said, look, I've been on this video conferencing show that we do for 4 years, but I've reached the point that I pulled out for a couple of weeks. I had enough with everything. I came off Facebook. Not came off, I didn't. But I don't know if you know this, but John actually phoned my office to find out about where's Peter. I disappeared. And I just had enough. And then I sent my friends, I'm feeling better. I better go back on the show and keep this lot quick.
It is an hour. And sometimes you think, oh, Christ, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But
yeah,
that's about. I mean, I always ask, don't I, how many people are actually watching us talking like this? How many people are interested enough to watch 4 old gits just talk crap for an hour every bloody week? And,
I mean, it's just that we're not known. If we were known and we had things to talk about for that, no, I mean, if we had a real good agenda, we might become famous.
Famous in our own lunchtime.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we used to take the mick out of Stephen Healy? I'm glad he's not here. Do you remember we used to take the mick out of him when he was awarded these internet awards for broadcasting on Blabbing for Britain and things like that? Right. And we used to call him the Supremo and the video broadcasting wizard. Have you won anything recently, Stephen?
No. Oh, I've got an article being published today, which is this article, and it's by AirDroid.
Oh yes.
And it's about me, so I'm quite chuffed with that. And I have, on the back of live broadcasting, I've been working for Be Live for 2.5 years. So what came out of Blabbing for Britain? A living would be the answer.
All right, so you've made some money.
Excellent news. Excellent news. Right. Whatever happened to the Lab system?
I got an email through the other week and it says, congratulations, you've been nominated for the Scottish Small Business Awards. And I ain't done anything about it because I'm just not excited about it anymore. You know?
Just going back to eating out, and Chris is saying here, going to eat out in a restaurant in Flanders is more expensive than before COVID-19.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's one thing the government has got right. Oh, you sent me a picture, Peter.
Yes, show the crowd. See who they're looking at.
I was going to get a coffee. What do we want? What's that?
Okay.
You can put it full picture if you want. It might fill your screen so.
Right, full screen. It's yours.
Comments, please.
Who is that guy?
Oh, it's that guy. Look at the colour of his hair. I mean, that picture. I'm going to put that on the fridge. That's me, folks. Did you believe that? Look at me.
No.
Can you believe it, Stephen?
It's quite a then and now picture, Peter.
Yeah. Look at my jawline now. Yeah. So embarrassing.
How do you feel now as opposed to then?
I feel like, well, despite all my health problems, I feel a lot better. I was still a cheery chappy then, you know. Look at the grinning. That's when I first met Sheila, and Sheila's husband was 24 stone, and I think she was trying to get me up to the same level, but she failed. No, we lived next to a chip shop.
Okay.
Curries then, and I also drank alcohol. Now that was 16 years ago, and I stopped drinking alcohol 16 years ago. And I'll tell you one of the things I do get asked by people and say, how have you got such a good complexion? Is that a word? Complexion. And I says, well, give up alcohol for a start. I've had that a few times. I've been accused of having Botox. I says I've got buttocks, but not Botox. Okay, you can take me down now. I've had enough. You've punished me.
I knew you'd submit eventually, right? Okay, I'm going to hide that and come back to the three of us, or two of us in an empty chair. But it's quite a difference, Peter. And yeah, okay. So onward, and the next topic that we've got is okay. I don't know how you feel about this one, Peter. Okay, the wrong topic. Just a minute. We'll discuss that one later. What I want to go for is this one. Just give me a second. That's the one. And Stephen rejoins us. Right. There is a problem that people who are being, this is specific to the Lancashire area, East Lancashire, which is where I'm from. People are being told to isolate and not doing it because they can't afford to. So,
how's my doing that right way? Government, local authority. If you want us to isolate, do not, I repeat, not put the burden of payment onto the small local businesses. Put onto businesses. Give them the money from the government purse. Don't expect the small businesses to help you.
Okay, hopefully I'll turn Stephen's microphone off. I'll be back in a minute. I think you're right there, Peter, because it is a burden on smaller firms. I mean, the government have decided that in order to encourage people to actually self-quarantine for a period of 14 days, they will be paid £13 a day to a maximum of £182 to actually stay at home. And I mean, £13 is, well, it's not what I'm looking for. It's not significant, is it? But it is a contribution.
So how much is that? So in a 5-day week, how much is that?
It's £65 a week, but it's 100. They want them to quarantine for 14 days, right. £13 a day, so £182 in total. There's no pro rata. You've got to quarantine for 14 days, and you get £182.
Not enough, really, is it? Especially when people have got more. As long as they say this man's in quarantine or whoever, this family's in quarantine, they don't have to pay their mortgage just now by law. You can't evict them by law. They can get free food from food banks with a voucher. No embarrassment there. They don't have to pay certain things. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but that's why I go bananas with my two guys. I says, don't meet each other. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because here's what can happen. You go to a pub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello, is that Mr. Stewart? Yeah, you're in the pub at 5 o'clock. Yeah. Unfortunately, there was a guy in at 4:30, and he's got COVID. He's reported in. So you're going to have to take 2 weeks off. Okay, I weather the storm. 14 days later, or 10 days, or whatever it is, come back in and say, fine, that's me back. Mr. Stewart, you were in the pub on Friday again, weren't you? I goes, aye. Someone, was you in at 5 o'clock? Yeah. Someone come in at 4:45. You'll have to isolate again. Where does it stop?
Yeah, and it's a good point, Peter. Stephen?
Well, should you have gone to the pub the second time if you're in isolation?
No, after
No.
the 14-day period.
Oh. Ooh, I don't think it's as Peter said. It's not. It's a bunch of money, but it's not. It's not going to be the real contributor to people staying at home, is it? But then again, what figure is £50 a day going to keep you at home?
Yeah.
And what about the actual catchment area? How wide is it? Is it targeted on?
It's basically it's targeted at towns and cities under lockdown, where there is a problem, a known problem. The R rate is over 1. The infections per 100,000 are over, I think it's 30, is it? And they want to sort of lower the rate before they actually restore the freedoms that we're enjoying at the moment, 2 of us. So it is targeted, totally targeted. It's not £13 for everybody in the country. It's
no, I get that, but how do they? How precise are they on this measuring? And I think the answer is not at all precise.
No, but true. But if you wanted an extra £13 and somebody said, "Were you at the pub at 5 o'clock?" then you'd say, "Yes, I was," because you're going to get underneath £2. So. But it is, I mean, it's a good idea to actually encourage people to actually stay at home, because that helps to stop the spread of the virus.
Yeah, and anything that can be done for that is a good thing. But Peter, Aberdeen comes out of it today, and how long was it? How long was the lockdown enforced? Was it 2 weeks, something like that? 3.
3. And I can tell you right now, we are a very divided city. There's one publican who was heavily involved with it. The youngsters go there. He's a very popular night entertainment place, right? All the youngsters were there. His place was rampacked. And he got dogs abuse for it, okay? And he built big marquees at the side, and he's built big marquee at the back. And the licensing committee and the environmental command had a look and said, this marquee's too big, we're not letting you open because it's less than 18 inches from the next building, your marquee. And basically they're not letting them open, and people are on Facebook saying, good, serves you right, blah, 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 blah. And such a divided city. Now, here's another thing. A lot of people have turned on Nicola Sturgeon. The city last week said, at one point, we are going to go against the government's advice and open up, but that would quickly shut down. They come back and said, we're going to stick to the advice. That's how divided the city is. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, because it's just not fair. I went to one woman who was giving out free coffee as a customer of mine, sitting with her head down that day outside, and a neighbour come along and said, the likes of you, that all you're worried about profit, keeping home. She said, I'm giving out free coffees today. What are you on about? And she's got hygiene. So that's how divided the city is, and it's a problem. It's a problem.
But you mentioned Nicola Sturgeon there. Now, throughout the weeks of Blabbing for Britain, when we were talking back in April, May, you used to say, well, if it happens in England, it will happen in Scotland 2 weeks later. Nicola Sturgeon is 2 weeks behind the UK.
Yeah.
And now she's in front of the UK.
Yes.
She's the one taking decisions which Boris follows.
What has happened with that? Glasgow, Dundee had breakouts. More people get COVID than we have had up here, and that's the SNP stomping ground. That's their grassroots.
Okay.
And our unions are saying to her, Why isn't Dundee and Glasgow been shut down? Why have you not done it there?
I think they will, Peter, because it's an inevitability if there's an outbreak in schools in Dundee and Paisley, I think there was mentioned. It's just time. Pardon?
They haven't done it yet. This was last week.
It'll happen. I mean, there's warnings about Stoke now, and it's to do with the as Stephen said, the R rate and the number of cases per 100,000. I don't know.
I was looking at a thing on Korea, and you don't know if these things are true. Just someone had written in Korea. There was a woman sitting underneath.
Which bit of Korea, north or south?
I think South Korea, sitting under ventilation without a mask, and it spread it in the press. Right, just let me say, and 57 people got it. The only ones that didn't get it were the staff who all wore masks, which was quite interesting.
But South Korea's seen a huge spike, hasn't they, in the last couple of days? In fact, quite a few places, even New Zealand.
Yeah. Somebody must have brought that in with them.
You'd think, wouldn't you? Even though
somebody's been hiding, they've got it and they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if it became dormant, then it's reawoken, or something sparks it off. Because the original in the new outbreak, the people who contracted it had not been out of the country. They'd not been in contact with anybody who had the virus. So, you know, it does make you think.
There are so many people in the world, and some of them are asymptomatic. So you could see a situation where somebody's asymptomatic and passes it to somebody else, who again gets it. So you could see, because it's such a big numbers thing, it's going to continue forever potentially, because you don't know if you've got it, therefore you can't stop spreading it.
Symptomatic means that you get it and it doesn't affect you. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Right. You've got some people in life and say, yeah, I've got it, but it doesn't affect me. I'm going to the pub.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, that's quite possible.
I don't know. Do you think we should now take our chances and get out there? Just open up and get out there.
They are at the moment. In England, you can go anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm. But you're meant to be socially isolating at the same time.
That's a different question, isn't it? And yes, I most definitely think you should socially distance. The next time I see a human being close up, I don't want to be anywhere bloody near them, if that makes sense.
No, they're saying the 2 meters is old hat as well. It should be 8 meters.
Oh, yeah, because they're sold COVID in the air thing.
Yeah.
Chris is just saying next week in Belgium we have to open the schools with the windows open. Now our schools open on next week as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Other schools are open, by the way.
Yeah, a couple of my grandkids I saw are back at school.
But
how do you feel about that?
Dundee, and it was teachers, I think, adults got it.
I think it's just going to spread.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if kids are not, if they're very. It doesn't matter if kids are at low risk, because the teachers will be there picking it up, and then it's just until you can try and damp it down by, and that Boris thing, he's finally cracking down on masks in school, and.
I've been listening to things. I've just bought some vitamin C. I'm going to be making that. I take vitamin D, and if I was that hydroxychloroquine, or whatever you call it, I would take that as well if I was allowed it. Anything to save me. That's important.
Well, that's it. You've got to look after yourself and make your own judgments.
But look at that.
In terms of schools going back,
Hmm.
there's always got to be a risk in actually doing it. But there is a risk to children's education and mental health if they don't.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I've downloaded version 2 this morning. Look at
Yeah. It's beautiful, Peter. You've got a perfect hand. You've got 5 fingers on your hand. This is the acid test of a green screen. Can you show 5 fingers?
And that's it downloaded today and optimized. So it's looking, if you don't mind me saying, glad I shaved.
Well, you've got to have a shave now, Peter, because we're going out in 1080p. The resolution is far better than it's ever been. And if you don't shave, it does actually show. And somebody remarked on it the other day, because sorry, Stephen, all the videos that I'm doing on BeLive are going out in 1080p, which means when you watch it back on Facebook, you're actually seeing it in high definition, and the same on YouTube as well. It's the best we can get. It's the best we can get. We are looking as clear as we ever will, until the world goes for 4K, which is a long way off. I don't have a computer for that.
You hear us?
Knock on wood, yeah.
Well, why is that thing? I've got that thing on.
Crisp?
Yes.
It's switched on?
Well, just check. On, it says.
Is it the microphone you're actually using in the studio?
What do you mean?
Settings cog in the staging area. Is it actually using that microphone?
Oh, it's Crisp uses. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right, I'll have a look. It's just slow.
Okay. Right, just to say that if you are a green screen fan, and you don't have to be, 50% of us are, 50% of us aren't, then XSplit VCAM version 2 has just been released. As Peter mentioned, it's a free upgrade, and you can do, if I take a background picture, I'm going to take my life in my hands here, but if I take a background picture and put my hands up, then you can see, as Peter did, I can actually move my hands about. So the technology behind this now is absolutely awesome. This would be a good time to say that BeLive is going to have its own inbuilt green screen. It's on the roadmap. But in the meantime, Peter and I can enjoy XSplit, or we can enjoy views of Stoke with Stephen.
You can't, because I haven't got green screen capability, because I'm on a MacBook. What's this thing? No, I'm on a Mac Mini.
Right.
It's powerful enough to run the green screen stuff.
It is powerful enough.
No.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
This says it's on, but I'm trying to find. I've put on.
Just knock on wood again, Peter. Can you hear that? No, you didn't hear a thing, which is good. I was actually knocking on the table, clanking my cup. No, you can't hear any of that because Chris was actually set up in the studio. Right, okay.
Hear me here.
No, you're okay now. You cracked it, Peter. Peter's cracked it. Shall we talk about U-turns? Sorry, Stephen's just bored by the whole thing. Peter doesn't think the government's done any at all. And I'm sat in the middle as usual. Yeah, it is basically, we have a situation. Well, never has a government admitted to making so many mistakes in so short a space of time. Because if they do something wrong, then they change their minds, and then they say it wasn't me. It was. Oh, I loved it. There was a cartoon the other day, and it was a mutant virus that actually caused the problem with the mutant algorithm caused the problem with the school exam results. And there was a picture of a mutant ninja turtle to accompany the article, which I thought was Stephen's still not interested, but I think
I am, but it's just part of the dumbing down of the people, because it's not a mutant algorithm. It's shit software that's been developed to take a load of data and to try to do something with it. And as ever with government IT, it's a complete and utter disaster, an expensive disaster. Yeah. So to try to call it, oh, it's a mutant algorithm in the pathetic way that he does. There you go, Claire. Shows how stupid they think we are. Yeah. What should, just a minute, Peter, just hold on.
Yeah.
What should happen now, and in any sane society, is that somebody would say, can we just have a look at the decisions that were made to build this algorithm, how we procured it, who bid for it, who then did the work, who tested it, who modeled it, who had a look at the information coming out of the thing. Did it meet the expectations that we wanted to get from this massive expenditure? None of that seems to be done. None of it looks as if it's ever going to be done. And that's where we're just being told, it's a mutant, don't worry. Oh, give me strength.
It's sorry, Peter, yes, you're waiting to get in.
Here's how we should handle a U-turn. I'm sorry. We got this wrong. We're going to get it put right as soon as possible. And now I'm going to tell you about the biggest classic U-turn I've ever seen in my life.
Calm down.
You know what it is?
Calm down.
Okay.
We are going to give you free student university places. What? No, thank you. You're not getting it.
Right, talking of which, the new Lib Dem leader is decided today.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. New Lib Dem leader is decided today, and we're waiting to find out. We'll be round about 11:45. The announcement will be made, and that'll be Leah.
Did you just say we're waiting to find that out?
We are.
Brilliant. Brilliant. What the hell is a Lib Dem again?
Sorry, Stephen and Angelica are waiting to find out who it is, and possibly some of our viewers are waiting to find out who it is.
Who's the leadership?
Oh dear, oh dear. I'm going to change the topic now.
Who's in the leadership race? Could you remind the viewers the top two?
Ed Davey and Ed Davey.
No, there's another one. It's a lady.
Are you sure?
Yeah. What's her name again?
I don't know. I didn't vote for her.
Yeah, but you know
vote for these people.
It's too late to vote. Anyway.
I really do hope, because I don't know her name, but look her up if I find her. I hope she wins, because it would be so much fun having her. I love her interviews. Vote for her. Vote for her. I'll give you the check. Vote for her. Miranda, I think her name is.
Yeah. I'm not giving publicity. Right, okay, now something serious which is going to affect us all. Is this?
Oh, I'm glad I've given up bread.
Well, do you both eat bread? I know it's a strange question, but how many loaves of bread do you buy a week?
We have what's it called? What's soda bread? I always get this wrong. Ask her, but she makes her own.
Yeah, I'm on a low carb diet now and have the odd bread, but it said new keto bread in Amazon or something like that. I looked it up. Do you know how much it cost?
A lot.
£5 for 20 slices?
Yeah.
What a joke. No, keep your keto bread. No, I've cut down on the carbs, you see.
Yeah.
The best bread, high and low, from Sainsbury's. Very good bread. Hardly carbs on it.
At this point, Angelica bakes one loaf a week and we buy one a week. But we're all going to be affected because there's been a bad harvest because it's weather. It's the changing weather. They actually sowed when it was, well, wet would be a good word. and they've had a very bad harvest. So we are going to suffer in the coming days and weeks. Okay.
Still, the people losing weight in a low carb diet, which you didn't want.
Well, the government has said obesity is the biggest problem we face, or the health department has said. Okay.
Yeah, they showed you that today.
This is a genuine problem. People are still on furlough till October, I think, aren't they? And being paid by the government or by us, whichever way you look at it. But the situation is, in cities, people are just not returning to the office, and the major companies have not forced people to go back to the office.
You know what they also said to themselves? Look at the money we are making here. Look at the gazoo. We don't have to pay big business rates here anymore. We don't have to. We don't have to upkeep of that building. Sure, let's get rid of it. Let's get them sitting in their houses and just meet up every so often on a Zoom call. And we'll put a timer on you so we know you're working. Wow, big savings, big savings.
It's not just the companies that are saving, Peter. It's all those thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who used to commute into London, Birmingham, Manchester. They don't have to commute. Imagine they're doing what we do. They can start work at 9 o'clock or 5 past. Yeah, they don't have to do a 2-hour journey into work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even so, from the employee's point of view, it's beneficial as well. Yeah, because if you want to take a break, you can just go out for a walk. You can't, but the knock-on effect, and this is where the problem comes, is that all the small businesses in the city, that everything from dry cleaning through to fast food, through to hairdressers, are all suffering because there's no footfall. There's nobody actually in the city.
That's why, as I spoke about Mr. Furness today, he had to adapt. Otherwise, there was no money coming in. So here's the thing. Dry cleaners, all these people you're talking about, you're going to have to get online and promote hard your delivery service or your pickup service. You're going to have to go and do that. You're going to have to adapt or you're going to die. And I'm sorry to be so brutal with it.
If you are selling a product, then yes. If you're selling a service, then you can't just do it by additional advertising, because there's nobody there, is there, Stephen? There's nobody in the cities.
No, I'm not on about using the premises. I'm on about having to look at the way they do their service and actually deliver. Go out and deliver.
There's nobody to deliver to. They're in the city and they're on people's route to work, and people are not walking to work from the tube.
Well, you understand that they're going to be a casualty of war.
Oh, collateral damage. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good way to look at it. Stephen's very quiet.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen.
Is this
They've based themselves, right? I was once looking at an oil play. It was on TV, Ghost Town, and you had literally what's that stuff that goes in the wind and it just tumbleweed. No, there was a big place in America. All that depended was on oil. Now, if you go there, it's tumbleweed. And I'm afraid people who, if they've done great in a place and they see the signs coming, get out now, folks. Get out, diversify, open somewhere else. And that's what's happening. You've got to think ahead in business. Now, I'm doing more Facebook advertising just now with my business. I'm a provider of a service. We go out and we're doing quite well, touch wood, because I've adapted and put more money into advertising.
And your market is there, and your market's not going anywhere. But the situation for the people in the major cities, service providers, food providers, is that they have no customers. There are no tourists. London has no tourists. Yeah, it now has no workers. Yeah?
Nobody's got tourists hardly because of the situation. So Look, folks, we're just going to have to adapt. It's like the industrial revolution coming here. It was great. Now it's on the decline. You're going to have to think of other things. It's very difficult. I would be terrified in my position if I had to go and look for a job now. But it's, you know, and the days of the job for life are over.
They've been over. That's been over for 20 years.
Yeah.
Pete. But there's so many different vectors for this discussion, because you think about the big banks, the big finance houses, the big multinationals like Google, for example, are saying to their staff, work at home until at least this time next year.
Yeah.
That, as you said, Pete, Stephen, that affects the huge landlords, service management companies, transport, and all that sort of thing. So, and the bad news is that staff can do a lot of stuff in those scenarios from home. And we've proved that over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But again, and another twist on it is small business versus huge corporations. So we're able to run from this house, but we've also got offices at Keele Uni. And how are we going to pay for that stuff if we're not there? And there's all sorts of interactions going on. And you said that it's potentially a new industrial revolution. I mean, we're just going through the information revolution, and now we're going to go through a medical revolution. And it's not just work, it's society and everything like that.
Can I just mention that? There was an article a few weeks back, and he had the same franchise as your friend, by the way, right? You know which one that? It said in the paper, mole catcher becomes multi-millionaire. This guy, he says, it took me till age 52 to make $1 million with the stock market. He's a mole catcher, and he put his money into stocks and shares. And then he took £350,000 and he put it into one of the companies that's making the vaccine, etc. One of those things. And his money just blew up over the next few weeks. And he was in all the papers, he's been in all the magazines and everything. And I thought, wow, a mole catcher. But he's more than that. He's obviously invested through the years, but I just thought it was quite amazing, you know. You can look that up in the internet and you'll see it, you know. He's still involved in pest control, believe it or not. I think he just does it for something to do. But so there you go. So technology, probably too late for Amazon shares now. Too late for Netflix because they're at a high. And have you got stocks and shares, guys? Do you do them?
No.
Neither do I. I wish I'd known about. Seeing that 1987, I can take it to the guy's house. I pass it quite a few times. And I was doing a wasp nest, and he come out and he said to me, "Have you any money?" I says, "No, I'll be taking money for you, mate. That's how I work. You give me money." And he said, "Go and buy blue chip companies because the market had crashed." And I watched it, and I just watched them all climbing again. He says, I've borrowed money to buy stocks and shares. He was one of those guys. He was an accountant type person. And I've often looked at him and said, wow, you're so right. So there you go. I don't even know how to start. Do you know how to start if you wanted to put money in? No.
Right, okay.
Net capitalism.
Okay. I could go to various places. I just want to go here, though. You have to play. This week saw an amazing feat. Sportsmen come and go. But Jimmy Anderson from Burnley in Lancashire, which is my hometown, he used to play for the local team. And then when he was 21, which is 17 years ago, he started to play for England, and he has now become the most successful fast bowler in cricket there's ever been in the world. So I just try to acknowledge that people who come from Burnley can be world beaters, and one of those is Jimmy Anderson. And It's just an awesome feat to actually be at the top of your game as a sportsman for 17 years. Yeah, I mean, we look at tennis. We know people have injuries, they come and go. Jimmy has actually been consistent through the 17 years, overridden any injuries he had, and at the age of 38, he can still play at the top level. That's just proved this week. So, okay, thank you for indulging me there.
Anderson, get your punishment over in such a short period of time.
No, 17 years is just an incredible feat.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I've got to go back, so we've got me 11 starting soon. So shall we say tatty buys?
Okay.
4 minutes.
Okay, just to note then that Bletchley Park needs our help.
Why?
It's lost 3 million so far this year because it was closed for 3 months. It needs support in order to continue. We wouldn't be sat here, we rehearsed this line earlier, we would not be sat here talking today if it hadn't been for Bletchley Park. So,
did I tell you that was one of the highlights of my business career, involved in Bletchley Park? I'll tell you, I get quite emotional about it. So I goes to this house to do a wasp nest, and it was £60 at the time. And I goes in, and there were 2 young men putting in a window for this old lady, and I just happened to look down, and I seen this book, Life at Bletchley Park. And I looked at her, she was prim and proper, and I said, "You were there, weren't you?" And she says, "How did you know that?" I says, "I just surmised it." And I said to the 2 guys, "Hey, listen, you make sure you look after this lady." I says, "Do you know about Bletchley Park?" And they went, "No." I says, "Well, this lady served there." I says, "But you've probably heard of the film Enigma." And they went, "Yeah." I says, "This is what this is about." And then she said,
okay, Pete.
"How much am I owe you?" I says, "You're owing nothing." And she goes, "That's the first time in 60 years I've been paid back."
That's
Right.
beautiful.
I've got to go.
Beautiful to end on. Stephen, John,
See you
who wasn't here, and Peter. Right, Stephen, Peter, see you next week. Take care.
Take care,
Everybody who's
everybody.
watching, thank you.
Bye.
We're out of here. Bye for now.